This is Weather or Not.
All right, welcome into this Wednesday edition of Weather or Not. A little bit different here today. Andrew on vacation, so yeah, getting you out from behind the producer desk.
No, it's different. It's definitely a different feel, but I'm super excited to be out here with you and get to do all of this.
Yeah, we'll see how you do. We might bring you back tomorrow if you do all right.
Maybe. We'll think about it.
Yeah, all right, let's jump into it here and talk about the three things we are tracking here on this Wednesday. Number one, boy, what a difference.
Yeah, it feels insane outside. You can walk outside without a jacket. Last week we had our puffer jackets on. This week I'm comfortable in a long sleeve.
Yeah, a serious case of spring fever breaking out around here as we work our way basically all the way through next week. And we've also got a quick hitting rainmaker that we're going to be tracking as we get set to kick off the weekend. So let's jump right into it. And yeah, talking about that difference, today's forecast high temperature 64 degrees.
Yeah, compared to last week where we're sitting 32 and feeling even colder with that wind chill, it definitely feels all the difference. Plus not even seeing much snow on the ground anymore.
Yeah, nothing left but a few parking lot piles of snert.
Snert.
Snow and dirt.
Wow.
Those piles in the parking lots.
I like it.
That's pretty much all that is left. But yeah, a far cry, and we're going to continue that big difference as we work our way into these next couple of days. As we mentioned, spring fever, it is breaking out in a big way. Look at this temperature trend. Today we're into the 60s. Tomorrow we'll take a little dip, but check out Friday.
Yeah, by Friday we're sitting in the low 70s, and it's definitely going to feel a lot warmer. And then we'll start to see some changes as we head into the weekend, all thanks to a front that's going to work through overnight on Friday. It'll be out of here by the weekend, nice weekend on tap, but then we'll start to climb our way back up even to the low 70s for some inland spots as we head into the start of next week.
And it's not only the daytime temperatures, look at this, nighttime temperatures for a week solid, not dropping down below the freezing mark, and that comes on the heels. I was doing a little research this morning. Speaking of our cold snap, January as a whole across the Carolinas and the eastern U.S. was the coldest January since 1988.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to go way back. So this will certainly feel a whole lot different. And as we've been saying, that trend going to take us into early February. This is that long-term temperature outlook, and it's basically the complete opposite of what we dealt with for most of January.
Yeah, all of the month we've pretty much been sitting below average. So seeing those reds and deep oranges on the map, it kind of excites you, gives you that spring fever type of feel as we head into the month of February, knowing that temperatures are going to sit well above average.
Yeah, all that cold air going to be locked up near the Canadian border, the West Coast, and parts of New England still going to stay on the cold side, but overall it is a generally mild pattern, and we do have, with that mild pattern, one more opportunity for some rain as we head into the weekend, but not overly impressive, and the timing of it going to be pretty good.
Yeah, so Friday is going to be the nicest day of the week. Temperatures, they're sitting in the low 70s, but then we're going to see some rain work through late in the evening into the overnight hours as this cold front's going to work through, going to bring us some showers, maybe even that isolated downpour, but it's really going to last throughout the overnight hours, and then it's going to slowly work its way out. And then by Saturday morning, a few isolated showers can't be ruled out, but once those kind of work their way out, it's going to leave us a really nice end to the weekend.
Yeah, not a bad weekend at all. Again, most of that rain going to be coming while we're sleeping Friday night, so that leaves us with a good looking weekend forecast. You can see that very early chance of a shower across the Grand Strand. That's likely before the sun even comes up. We'll be left with clearing skies for the rest of the day into the 60s on Saturday. It does turn a couple degrees cooler as we head into Sunday, but still upper 50s to low 60s. Not going to be bad at all, and a good chance for everybody to get outside and enjoy that change. Shall we go coast to coast?
I think we shall go coast to coast. You know, we're going to stay dry throughout the afternoon tomorrow and even through the rest of the week before that rain works in. But you can notice off to our west through Louisiana, Arkansas, even parts of Texas, you are going to see that cold front that's going to bring us that rain throughout Friday overnight is going to bring some severe weather through those areas.
Yeah, quite a difference. You know, last week, Lake Charles, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Mobile, Apalachicola, we're picking up snow. Look at those temperatures in 70s, even 80 in Baton Rouge heading into tomorrow. You can see those temperatures across the Carolinas up into the 50s and 60s, and again, getting even warmer as we head into Friday. It's been pretty active across the Northeast. They've had a kind of an up and down week and some occasional bouts of heavy snow. That'll turn a little quieter heading into the day on Thursday. Just some high clouds working their way in, maybe a little bit of snowfall there in upstate New York.
Yeah, but one thing, it is going to be a lot cooler, and it's going to be well below average temperatures as we head into the day tomorrow. Up north are going to sit even in the upper 30s, 34 for Scranton, 28 for Binghamton, Rochester, sitting at that 33-degree mark.
Yeah, and let's take you into the Midwest, where things are also relatively quiet. You can see that rain there across parts of Illinois into Missouri. That's our rainmaker that comes in here on Friday. Overall, though, things are pretty quiet, and even this part of the country staying relatively mild. Anything that falls out of the sky up towards Chicago and Des Moines, it's going to be rain, the liquid variety, thanks to those milder temperatures.
Yeah, temperature is definitely going to be on that mild side. We're sitting in the low 50s, 50 for Lincoln, Omaha, Des Moines, but even in the International Falls, we're still sitting in the upper 30s. So some cooler air continues to try to work its way in through International Falls and even through parts of Duluth.
All right, let's take you to the southwest. You can see storms breaking out there across Texas into Arkansas. Some of that could actually be severe heading into Thursday. Again, that's the seedling stages of our Friday rainmaker. Otherwise, not a whole lot going on there across the southwest.
Yeah, when it comes to temperatures, we're going to be warmer, especially for parts of Texas. 75 for Lake Charles, 73 for Houston. Santa Fe, though, sitting in that low 40-degree mark.
All right, and let's take you here to the West Coast, where things are still relatively quiet, although we are starting to see at least a little more action there for those fire-stricken areas of Southern California. Still pretty dry as we head through the day on Thursday. Next system beginning to approach the Pacific Northwest with those temperatures pretty mild.
Yeah, Los Angeles sitting in the upper 50s, 59 for Los Angeles, 55 in San Francisco. But you can see Salt Lake City, 41, Pocatello, 33. So some areas still seeing that cold, but pretty much everywhere else continues to see temperatures that are quite mild.
Yeah, and speaking of the relief there for fire-stricken Southern California, it's one extreme to the other. Now let's take you back into Monday, where the flash flood warnings were in effect near Malibu and the Palisades fire burn areas. What happens is all the vegetation gets burned from those wildfires. Then you get the rains that come, and there's nothing really to hold those hillsides in place. So you end up with mudslides and debris flows and flash flooding. So definitely a tricky situation. You want the rain.
Yeah.
But you don't want it too much too fast because you get big issues.
Yeah, because now a number of considerable mud flows forced the closure of multiple roads in the area. Crews seen removing some of the mud from that area. Some have even installed barriers around the burn scars, and officials are reminding everyone to stay away from areas prone to flooding and to not enter moving water.
All right, let's wrap up our Coast to Coast segment here with yesterday's temperature extremes.
Peter Sinks is back on the map.
Peter Sinks, Utah, back on the map. I've got to get out there. That's my kind of weather. 25 below zero on Tuesday. A big comparison to Florida.
Yeah, sitting in the upper 80s. So it's definitely a big difference. I mean, Peter Sinks, I could never sit in negative 25-degree weather.
I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't.
That's a good fresh hike out in that kind of cold. Speaking of cold, we didn't have that kind of cold last week, but we did have all of that fresh Arctic air. And leading up to that historic snowstorm last week, we mentioned many times sort of that threading the needle weather pattern where everything has to come together perfectly here for the Grand Strand to get a big winter storm, and indeed that happened. Meteorologist Matt Bullock now breaking down those winter weather patterns we can see in our area.
After last week's snowstorm, a lot of folks have been asking me, when is the most common time for Myrtle Beach to see winter storms? And looking back at the data, we've seen 18 winter storms dating back to 1896, with the most recent on January 21st of 2025. And of those 18 winter storms, 10 of them occurred in the month of January, 6 of them in the month of February, 1 in March, and 1 in December, which we all know of the White Christmas of '89. And of those 10 winter storms in January, 8 of them occurred in late January, and 61% of all those winter storms we've seen occurred in late January and early February. But why? Here's a look at the typical setup. Anytime we get this cold blast of Arctic air, all we need is a lot of moisture. And typically, anytime we see a low pressure system or storm system develop in the deep Gulf, with that Gulf moisture and that cold air, that's the perfect recipe for snow across the Grand Strand. Matt Bullock, WMBF News.
And that is exactly what we saw last week. There's a very specific, very common weather pattern that we look for winter storms here, and we literally checked all the
Every
boxes
single-
last week.
And it was a matter of fact, like, of watching that for the 8 days prior up
Yeah.
into it, watching it and kind of just talking between all of us, like, this needs to hit perfectly. And having it hit perfectly here was just honestly the most magical thing.
It was magical. Something else that was magical, and we have so many pictures to still go through.
So many.
Were all of your pictures. So see it, snap it, send it. Obviously, all about the snow. And I've been here for 17 years now. I've seen snow on the beach a couple of times. It never gets old.
It was the best thing I've ever seen. I was out there overnight and even seeing it through the dark. I didn't get to see it while it was light outside, but
Yeah.
I was like, this is crazy. The fact that I'm standing in snow on the beach.
Yeah, Vicki Ennis sending this one in. Just absolutely incredible to see the snow-covered beaches here across the Grand Strand. Let's show you a couple more of those pictures. And this one, I believe it was Thursday night.
Yes, it was
of last
Thursday
week
night,
that
and
we had just an insane sunset.
It was absolutely incredible. Just all the colors, fire and ice with the snow. It just made for, honestly, no matter where you took a picture of this sunset, you got a great photo.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. It would have been beautiful without the snow cover,
Yeah.
but the fact that we had the snow on the
It
ground.
just made it 10 times
with,
better.
With that sunset, just made it absolutely incredible. So, and again, we've got so many pictures in, and we've been sharing those, and we'll continue to do so, highlighting some of the best from that historic winter storm last week. Speaking of sunrise, let's jump into that sunrise forecast for Thursday. Mostly clear sky, so there will be some color. Again, as we always say, you want at least a little bit of cloud cover to kind of really make those colors pop. I think we're generally clear tomorrow morning, but still should be a decent looking sunrise out there as we start off our Thursday.
Yeah, and the best way that you can always send us those is through this QR code. Download the WNBF First Alert weather app, scroll all the way to the bottom, submit that photo. It's the best way for us to see those pictures, and we love sharing your pictures. You can either see them here on Whether or Not, or even through our social media pages.
Yeah, just send them anywhere you can, and we will definitely get them on here. Tomorrow's show,
Yeah.
We're going to focus, kind of fine-tune the timing
Yeah,
of the rain that we
100%.
have coming in, working into Friday night. A couple of weekend events going on. We're getting into that time. We'll have the forecast for the Polar Plunge
Yes,
coming up this weekend,
should
and
do it.
also, nope, not going to do it. I do not do cold water. And also looking ahead into next week as we continue to switch into a much more spring-like pattern. So that'll do it for today's Whether or Not. I think we'll have you back tomorrow.
Thank you.
It
I'm
was pretty
excited
good.
to be here.
It was pretty good. All right, we'll see you back here on tomorrow's episode of Whether or Not.